Hello, everybody, and welcome back to another edition of Saltwater Gaming. I am Ellison Smith. So, like a lot of the kids that grew up in the 90s, I was introduced to the wonderful world of Japanese animation, uh, the wonderful animes, by a little block on Cartoon Network called Toonami. Now, at the time that I started watching it, they had what's now considered essential series. So, Yu Yu Hakusho, the first Gundam series, Trigun, uh, and I'm trying to think of other. Oh, Sailor Moon was also on there, uh, where a lot of us learned some things about ourselves. In that time frame, I also found this series by the name of Dragon Ball, and the following series by the name of Dragon Ball Z, which is essentially about a guy whose hair gets bigger the more powerful he becomes, and he solves all of his problems by punching things. So, when you're in like elementary and middle school and high school, great role model. Um, and that got to America, and it got ridiculously huge, and it still is. It's continued nowadays with the latest incarnation in the series called Dragon Ball Super, which I really do need to catch up on because I am ridiculously behind. Um, and with everything else of it gaining popularity, we got Dragon Ball and Dragon Ball Z games. Mostly they were fighting based. Um, my favorite one so far in the series is probably Xenoverse 1. I haven't checked out Xenoverse 2, so y'all give me time on that. But the most recent addition to that is, and I do apologize for possibly butchering the name, Dragon Ball FighterZ. It's either FighterZ or FighterZ with a Z, which, is hardcore 90s style. So I picked that up on Redbox for a couple days just to make this and get a little playthrough of it and get the get the gist of it down. So with that, here comes the review. So I enjoyed Fighter Z is what we're gonna call it for this review. First and foremost, I enjoyed the game. I've never really been into fighters. Like I know that I loved Mortal Kombat X. Um, I love the Injustice series. Like I really loved Injustice 2. More so because they put Hellboy in it. Um, and I enjoyed the first Xenoverse, so Dragon Ball Xenoverse. And this one is first and foremost a very very good fighting game. The graphics are absolutely gorgeous. Like the cinematics that they use for the super attacks. So like for Goku's Kamehameha and then his different forms stuff. Um, Vegeta's Gallic Gun. Every super move that you have seen in the series is there, um, and they are all beautifully animated. The normal style is a 2D with some 3D shading, um, beat 'em up, and then for the cinematic stuff, it goes into like 3D models and all these different camera angles, and it's very well thought out, well animated. You can see the detail and the shading and everything that goes into that, which is a very nice touch, and it's very pretty. First, it's very very pretty. So if you don't do fighters, but you need a game where you can just mash some buttons and then some really pretty stuff happens, this is recommended. Um, for those of you that want technical stuff, the control scheme and the combos that you can pull off are very tight. I think that's the ideal word for that. It's very tight. A lot of your attacks can deal with directional stuff, so you're using the control sticks as well as the analog buttons. And so it's like your combo would be like strong, energy, and then uh up and to the right. So it's very technical, and the game responds very well. There's no lag that I could find. There might be some lag depending on what platform you're working on. But it's just the combat flows very well. It's You can tell that this was had a lot of effort put into it and a lot of good practice time. I remember playing a couple other. I don't play fighters much, but when I do, I do notice how they respond. Um, you can tell that this was put down to a science, and all the T's and T's are crossed, I's are dotted. This is a very tight control scheme, and I very much respect that about the game. The roster is very ad friendly. You can customize your character. Well, you can customize your roster with like different power ups and all that other kind of stuff. But you will be heavily pleased with the amount of characters that you find in the game to add on, and probably there's going to be more that are going to be coming in DLC. So I wouldn't worry about. There's only so many characters. There's going to be more coming up. It's okay. Um, So if you want to make a Saiyans only team, you have, Goku, Vegeta, Trunks, Goku, Vegeta, Gohan, etc. Goku, Vegeta, Nappa. You can make an underdog squad, so like Tien and Yamcha and Krillin. It's you got access, and you got flexibility with your choices, and you can power them up. I had the game for about 2 days. I made Krillin my main fighter, and I made him an absolute beast, and I loved it so very much. So you can have a lot of fun with playing to your playstyle, and I do recommend trying out, the different team combos, because you can figure out an entirely different strategy from there. The actual storyline is very Dragon Ball Z. There's clones involved, and that's as much as I'll give away. Is that it's very much one of those. It's not textbook stuff, but there is stuff that they have copy and pasted from some very old sources, and some stuff that you can kind of tell was like, okay, this could have been ironed out better, or this could have been expanded on. But it's very much a basic Dragon Ball Z storyline where, you gotta figure out and save the world and all this other kind of stuff. The missions that you can do are, I don't want to say limited, because I know that they're probably going to be adding more stuff, but at this moment, systematic is what we'll go with. You have a set number of turns that you can take to get to your main objective. You have item shops in the the map areas. You have optional battles that you can do that give you extra XP and money, so you can grind if you need to grind. And unfortunately, one of the few qualms I have with this game is that a lot of the battles that you find that pop up are either tutorials or repeat tutorials. And I can tell what they're trying to do with the game, which is, embed these controls into your brain and into your reflexes so that you don't have to come back and relearn this stuff. But about like 1/5 of the missions are tutorials, and that gets tiring after a while. But you know what doesn't get tiring after a while is listening to the wonderful voice of our very own Mike from Eventide Entertainment, and Mike is going to let y'all know what we've got coming down the pipe from Eventide, and we will be back with you shortly on Saltwater Gaming to finish out the review. See you in a bit. Let them know what we got, Mike.
Wednesdays on Eventide, Robert Yetter and Mike Shea sit down and throw albums at each other, talking about them, picking them apart, ripping them a new one. All different artists, all different genres, all different levels of suckage. It's Track Record, Wednesdays at 9 a.m. on the Eventide podcast feed. For more information, go to eventideent.com. Nothing brings people together quite like the movies, and every week Aaron Lopez wants you to join him in a discussion about the latest and greatest in the world of film. So grab a drink, grab some popcorn, and get comfy. Come join Aaron and friends every Thursday at The Drive-In, presented by Eventide Entertainment.
You know, there's nothing quite as satisfying as a good conversation with intelligent company.
Join comedian Don Smith every week as he sits down and talks with comedians, actors, filmmakers, writers, and everyday schmoes. It's The Life with Don Smith, Wednesdays at noon on 106.9 FM, and now available on the Eventide Entertainment podcast feed every Friday on Spreaker, YouTube, and iTunes.
Hey, thanks, Mike. So that's what we've got coming down through Eventide. So, long story short, and the gist of this review boils down to, if you are a fan of fighters, if you like the Injustice games, I recommend this game. If you like Tekken and Soul Calibur and, technical fighters like that, I recommend trying this game out and seeing how you like the control scheme. I know that it's not going to be for everyone. There are a lot of stuff that is very much dependent on the direction that you are putting your characters in, or the direction that you are evading, or jumping, or anything like that. So the direction that you are using your analog sticks and your combination of button presses comes into play a lot, especially once you get into the higher levels of combat. So Tekken fans and Soul Calibur fans, check it out. Just go by Redbox, rent it for like 1 to 2 days, so that's like $6 out of your pocket. And if you like how it plays, pick it up. If you are a Dragon Ball or Dragon Ball Z fan, you probably already have this, so you already know what I'm talking about, and I don't need to tell you anything because you've been playing this since launch. Congratulations. You continue. You do you. You do you. You continue doing everything that you're looking for. If you are not a fan of fighters, or if you're a casual at fighters like I am, do give this a try. Especially if you like fighters that are very, very pretty and play very well. You don't have to, get deeply involved in the storyline. You don't have to, get hardcore into competition mode or anything like that. You don't have to fight anybody else. Just do what I did and play through it and just see what you can do with the characters that you unlock. Because that is probably going to be your most fun, is going through all these different maps and all these different missions and actually seeing the story play out and seeing who you can get. That is a blast, rather than fighting somebody in 2 countries over to see who's better at playing with Nappa. And anything like that. It's not it can be a game for casuals like myself. You just have to put the time in. If you are already a fan of fighting games, then you'll adjust to whatever attacks need to be adjusted to, and the play style. There we go. That's the word. And just learning what to do with your energy and maxing out all your combos and your super moves and everything like that. You will enjoy the super moves. I guarantee you will enjoy the super moves. Those things are animated and absolutely wonderful. You can feel like you can take down a planet with a little red ball that you pop out of your finger and just chuck it. You play this game and you will feel like you can take on Namek and take it down and, cut Frieza in half. It's a great uh, game for button mashers and for technical fighters and everything like that. So, if you're wanting a game that's gonna move you with a storyline, I wouldn't recommend this because it's very much a Dragon Ball Z storyline, which is some parts are well thought out, other parts just seem to drag for a little bit, and that's okay. That's fine. We're used to taking 9 episodes for a Spirit Bomb to charge up and then get very little payoff. That's okay. But if you are a fan of the series, a fan of fighters, a fan of very pretty animated fighters as well, or if you just are looking for something to, work out the muscles in your thumbs, I would highly recommend Dragon Ball FighterZ, or FighterZ, whichever you want to call it. That's perfectly fine. So, that is Dragon Ball FighterZ. Unfortunately, there will not be an episode next week. I am in the process of moving to Florida for a new job, so that's a new adventure that I'll be partaking in. When I return, there's a couple different options that I'm going to look at. More than likely, it'll either be a new review, possibly Monster Hunter, because I know that the newest one just came out, and I have never played a Monster Hunter game. So, for those of you that have played Monster Hunter, or who are enjoying the newest incarnation of the game, let us know what you think. Is it a game that anybody can jump in and play, or is it something that I should leave, alone? Because, again, this is my first time. I want it to be gentle. So, I will see you all again in 2 weeks. This has been Saltwater Gaming. I am Ellison Smith. I hope you have a wonderful rest of the week, and we will see you next time. Take care, everybody.